Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning to our respective lecturer, Dr. Bahir Anwar, and also our fellow classmates. Today we are Group 8. We will be presenting our topic, which we focused on the topic to Islamic civilization. In this presentation, we wanted to discuss about the challenges and prospects of Islamic civilization. Before that, I will introduce myself. My name is Nur Fakir binti Moinsuf. My metric number is 1815382. We're moving now to the introduction, which I will briefly explain about what is exactly Islamic civilization. Islamic civilization is an Islamic history which it talks about the events that really happened in the past that are entirely related to the religion of Islam, everything that related to the Islam, and also for the Islamic civilization, the term civilization itself, according to Islamic scholars, which it divided into two stages. So for the first stages, it took from the Ibn Khaldun in the early 14th century, and the secondly taken as early as the late 19th. So to conclude that the terms such as Madania, Hadara, Tamadun has been used especially for this Islamic civilization. So among them, which are the Muslims, are related to the history of the process of growth, for example, development, and also the spread of Islam. For example, we can see there are too much scope for Islam in order for them to spread the Islam itself. For example, we can see that in religion, Rasulullah, Sahaba, scholars, and how they trying to discuss about the Islam, and also discuss about the law and fatwa, and also kind of like that for the Muslim itself. And also second one, we can see that medicine, which we can take Ibn Sina for example, that he introduced the world of medicine and the technique or of plastic surgery. And the third one, which we can take education, for example Ibn Khaldun, and for the astronomy, Al-Mashar and Al-Khwarizmi. And there are many more about talking about the process of growth, about how they trying to develop Islam and also trying to spread Islam. Next, we can see as in the history of Islamic civilization, it has become an attraction, especially to the Arabs. It has become so important to them because of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, was an ideal person for all Muslims in every respect. His all actions, saying, and character were preserved in the Sirah books. The second one is the Muslim rulers of early centuries had developed their interest in learning the achievements of other Arab or non-Arab rulers to understand their strategies and to be the best in writing of history. And last but not least, they were proud of their old age customs and glorious achievements of their ancestors. I think that's all from me, so I'll pass on the floor to Siti and Sarah to explain their parts in the challenges of Islamic civilization. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Sofia binti Zainal Azmi. So today I'm going to talk about the challenges of Islamic civilization. In order to build Islamic civilization is a hard and challenging process where there will be lots of obstacles and challenges along the way of progressions. So during respective prophethood, Prophet Muhammad SAW had to face the difficulties and hardship when conveying the da'wah to Mecca and Medina, which it took 23 years to convey the da'wah. With the fast and technological advancement and literally Islamic civilization, there are many challenges for Islamic civilization, such as secularism, Islamophobia, and many challenges. So next, challenges will be secularism. So what is the meaning of secularism? The meaning of secularism is an ultimate separation with the worldly matters and religious matter. There are no religious practice such as Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism that could infer in the worldly case. However, Said Nakir Al-Atas, as cited in Abdul Rahim 2010, viewed secularism as a three elements, which are abandon of nature, the secular values, and sacred politics. So the concept of worldly matters has been stressed out in secularism, and it will cause the society become utilitarian and idealistic and materialistic, according to Abdurrahim 2010. Secularism can be a fact in terms of politicals and education. So next, in terms of politicals, Muslims are restricted to practice religious matters in the political issues. There will be no influence with religious between the laws and the public affairs. For instance, there are two types of court in Malaysia, which are Sharia court and civil court. So Sharia court, it consists of Islamic matters such as marriage. This political system is free to do anything that match to their desire without thinking about the consequences. With the elimination of the religious practice in life, humans naturally have desire to do anything. However, it is contrast with Islam, as Islam is urged Muslims to practice to be honest in every aspect of life. According to Al-Jahri 2016, Shura, liberty, justice, and equity are in the Islamic politics, where secularism emphasizes of human reasoning as ultimate values, where Islam is a balance between Al-Quran and Sunnah, and they also use human reasoning. So next will be the education. Secularism adopted science and technology as it can be shown the fact in life, according to Abdullah 2018. It is because science and technology can be seen through the sense of sight, taste, smell, touch, and hearing. However, it is contrast with the Islamic teaching. Al-Quran and Sunnah are the main sources of Muslim at large, where an essential elements in the remembrance of God will be eliminated in secular education, and it will impact the student, especially the children. So secularism is focused on the worldly knowledge solely, as it could lead to the students to not think of the purpose of existence, such as where he come from, according to Abdullah 2010. As Allah mentioned in the Quran, Surah Al-Dariyat, verse 56, I did not create jinn and humans except to worship me. So from this verse, it showed that the purpose of our existence, our life as a Muslim, is to worship and follow the guidelines provided to us. Unless the secularism system in education aspect can bring downfall to Muslim, especially in children. So next, I will pass to my friends, which is Siti Nurism, to further explain about Islamophobia and major challenges.
Thank you, Sister Sarah. My name is Siti Nurism binti Muhammad Zamri, and I will be explaining about the second and third challenges of Islam civilization. The second challenge of Islam civilization is Islamophobia. Generally, the meaning of Islamophobia is the negative feeling, action, perception, sentiment, and stereotype towards Muslim and Islam itself. Generally, Islamophobia is not something new because it is a new term for all concepts, according to Blish 2011. And sadly to say that it has already reached to the extreme level where the group of Islamophobia tend to turn their bad feeling toward the bad action. As stated by Ali 2012, The philosophy behind Islamophobia is to plant fear of Muslim and Islam in the heart of non-Muslim by depicting Muslim and Islam as an imminent danger to America, and the Western world, that Islam is not a religion and Muslims are strangers while does not belong to American. Muslims nowadays are being attacked by the group of people who show the sign of Islamophobia into themselves, and they try to portray their feeling into their action toward Muslim. As for example, one of the famous incidents that related to Islamophobia, which is the Christchurch incident in New Zealand in 2019. Hence, the ideology of Islamophobia can become a challenge to Muslim and Islamic civilization. The reason why Islamophobia will become a challenge for Muslims is due to the purpose of Islamophobia itself. According to the research done by Salifu 2019, it has been stated that Islamophobia was emerged with the purpose to hate the Islam religion, hate women in hijab or niqab, saying that Islamic foundations are against human rights and see Muslims as a terrorist. However, Muslims must react to this challenge in the best manner, where Allah has stated in the Quran in Surah Al-Fusilat verse 41, where Allah stated that respond to evil with what is best. So the best suggestion to encounter this challenge is with calm and gentle, and Muslim could win the heart and mind of anti-Islam people with the beauty of Islamic teaching. And lastly, another challenge of Islamic civilization is in terms of media challenge. For example, media challenge is on the use of internet and social media. Basically, the use of technology is dominantly controlled by the Western, and they have their agenda setting in every information or things that they portray and deliver to media user. It is based on the agenda setting theory, where people believe that it is a process whereby the mass media determine what we think and worried about. In relation to Muslim challenges, the media ideology brought by the Western tend to influence Muslims to adapt and follow their culture that they have portrayed through the use of media such as social media, entertainment platform, which are like drama, songs and movie. Without we realize, the Western people bring their social norms such as their dress up, lifestyle activity and their ideology that is against Islam teaching in order to attract Muslims to follow them. The advance of Western technology such as gadget and social media can give us excessive information, and without we realize, it already have shaped the mind of reader or viewer towards something that have been stated in media. Indirectly, this technology is already being a medium to spread the social norm and the cultures of Westerners to Muslims to be followed and to become a current trend to introduce and normalize their culture all over the world, especially in Muslim countries. According to Shehu 2016, external factors that create social challenge for Muslim society have their roots in Western colonization and globalization, which introduced, with the help of technology, many new cultural and social values that were not compatible with the Muslim and their religion. Therefore, the sophistication of internet and technology has created a social challenge to the Muslim civilization. It is because the Western try to bring and introduce their social culture and ideology through the medium of media, and without we realize, there's a lot of Muslim people that have already adapted into their cultures. That's all from me. I will pass to Sister Izzati.
My name is Nurul Izzati binti Sazali. My metric number is 1810470. So we will move on to the prospect of Islamic civilization. Prospect means the possibility or likelihood of something or event that will happen in the future. Therefore, in this section, we will focus on the three prospects of those mentioned challenges and its possible solution. Let's go through the first point, which is the media challenges. As we know, the mass media is very important because it has a large audience and it is also influential. However, we need to remember that internet comes from the Western, so it has agenda setting in which this has caused the people often to get a wrong view of Islam. Since it's come from the Western, so we need to remember that there will be a Western ideologies through the media that will always interfere with our faith. For example, I put here is Muslim can be carried away in music or can be influenced to watch pornographic videos, which is haram. And according to a study, Muslims can even change their characteristics because of what the media has portrayed. For example, such as copying the way to dress from the movie or drama. The worst part is when the Western people try to bring their culture that is against Islamic teaching to be practiced by Muslim. For example, they always bring us the show which contain the concept of violence, the concept to influence the Muslim to accept the LGBT, sexual before marriage, homosexuality, and so on. This is very dangerous, as if Muslim followed their culture, the foundation of Islamic civilization will be messed up. So as for solutions, Muslims need to remember that the media is definitely a test that given by Allah towards Muslims. So I can say that as a counter-attack for the Western, Muslim can use the media as a platform to spread the Islamic teaching as well. So this is because the influential media can be an efficient tool for the da'wah. This is because Islam is flexible, therefore Islamic da'wah is not only limited in the mosque, school or university, but also can be spread in the media. Therefore, if Muslims use internet as a way to spread the da'wah, then the Muslims can easily obtain the Islamic da'wah. As a reminder, even when they are surfing, they are using the internet for fun purposes. And there are also few Islamic icon which use the internet as the platform of da'wah, such as Mufti Meng, Noman Ali Khan, and Dr. Zakir Naik. Muslim can also follow what Indonesia has do in practicing the Islamic teachings through the media. For example, as you can see in the slide, this is what they do, which is they use the WhatsApp platform to do the one day one juzuk program. Okay, so you can see how to execute the program. Last but not least, the government also needs to play a role in controlling the negative influence from the media. So the first thing that the government can do is the film censorship, in which the government need to check the portrayal of the violence or any anti-social activities such as sexual elements that is included in the film, movie, or the media, or in television as well. This is because such movies that is portrayed in the media or in the televisions can bring a big or a great negative influence towards the Muslims, especially the children and the youth. Next, the government can also use their power to ban such movies from being sold or shown to the people. And if there's still a person or there's still people who show this kind of movie to the public, then there will be a punishment for that kind of people.
Next, we will move on to the prospect of Islamophobia.
So, how often Islamophobia is? According to a study, more than 1 of 4 Muslims have experienced Islamophobia, including being called as terrorists, grooming gangs, and foreigners. According to another study, it was stated that Islamophobia can affect Muslims both mentally and physically. For example, for the physical attack, Arab News 2020 reported that in Australia, a man was arrested by the police and sentenced to 3 years jail because of the attack on pregnant Muslim women. It is believed that the guy was motivated by the Islamophobia. The poor Muslim woman was knocked onto the floor and struck for at least 14 times and got stamped on the head by the attacker. And another example for the mentally attack towards Muslim is, according to Ali 2017,
American Muslims reported that they have significantly feel distress in regard to the discrimination received by the society because of their religion. Other than that, there are also many cases that involve crime and murder due to Islamophobia. One of them is the mass shootings in Christchurch, New Zealand last year, 2019. The gunman in this case has a very strategic plan in which he studied the floor plan, the location of the mosque, and how to attack the Muslims at their busiest time. This has shows that the Islamophobia has formed people to become more aggressive. The impact of Islamophobia also include the bias against Muslim women. For example, British view in Muslim women's identity as problematic. This is because Muslim women often judged based on their appearance, which follow the dress code of Islam. The veil that Muslim women wear also recognized as the symbol of Islamic aggression. And due to the exotic way, or we say that we cover our aura appearance, Muslim women tend to exposed to the violence such as verbal, physical, and sexual.
So now I will pass the presentation to Sister Rina.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rina Fazrul binti Muhammad Zulkifli. So I'm going to proceed to the possible solutions of Islamophobia. And then I'm going to continue to the last prospects of Islamic civilization, which is secularism. So what are the possible solutions for Islamophobia? Basically, I came up with two possible solutions for Islamophobia. The first one is spreading the awareness of Islam via social media platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. These platforms are really popular and famous among the youngsters as well as the elders. So by utilizing such platforms, we can spread the awareness about the actual Islam is, the actual teachings of Islam are. By telling these Islamophobics or other people, especially the Westerners, that Islam forbid any harm things to do, even on oneself, and let alone to harass or even killing other people. The baseless accusation by Islamophobics about Islam killing other people, harassing other people is ridiculous. So the second possible solutions of Islamophobia is spread the actual teaching of Islam through education, by organizing such a campaign like anti-Islamophobia, and also organizing such research projects on or about Islam's is really helping its students or even the educators to learn how actual Islam is and how these Muslims behave, and why this Islamophobia can be and why this term of Islamophobia can be an issue even until today. And then that's all for the possible solutions, and I'm going to proceed to the last prospects of Islamic civilization, which is secularism. So I'm going to proceed to the last prospects of Islamic civilization, which is secularism. So secularization aims to separate people from religion and worldly matters, and there's no good outcome coming from a secularistic system. This is because previously Malaysia is a secularistic country, and due to that, a few years later they had face the problem of dualism in education. Dualism in education is means that previously Malaysia adopt dual system of education. The first one is a traditional Islamic education system, and the second one is secular education system. And those who wanted to learn about Islam, they will have a special place for them, a special school for them, a special teacher for them. And those who want to enroll in a modern knowledge in a secular education system school, so they will have to enroll to another school with another teachers, with different environment, with a different syllabus and subjects. So and these dualism in education obviously do not bring any good outcomes, especially for the Muslims. This is because Malaysia have faced the problem that the graduates who coming from the secular state school, they maybe the professional, maybe those who are the future lawyers, the future accountants, those among the politicians. But what is bad things about this is that they do not have Islam in their heart. They do not know what Islam allow and forbid. They do not know the principles of Islam. This is because their school, the teachers do not expose them with the Islamic teachings, with the Islamic injunctions, just like what been taught in sekolah pondok or in the school that practice traditional Islamic education system. And okay, so those who enroll in sekolah pondok, they do not been exposed with the modern knowledge. They only learned about Islam, and that's all, and that is not good. They may have Islam in their heart, but they do not. It is hard for them to become a professional in the institution like in economy. They do not know how the accountant do their accounting, and do not know how the politician operated. So it is not good. There's no good outcome from it. Due to that, the government of Malaysia has come out with the solutions known as integration system. Basically, it is a system that bridge religion and secular curriculum to elevate the country from the dualism problem. And then they started to have now we have a school that combine both Islam and secular curriculum, where there's school that learn about modern knowledge, and in the same time they also learn about Islam. And if you want to have a more subtle solution about dualistic in education, is that perhaps the educators may in the secular school, those who are who are now still in a secular country like Turkey, they may instill the Islamic value in the secular education system by they teach about modern knowledge, but in the same time they try to subtly to recite the verses of the Quran, or to recite something in Arabic, the basic things about Islam in the teaching session. It may not be a huge impact it may not look like a huge movement excuse me, but at least the student may expose a little bit about Islam. They might not totally away from Islam. So perhaps by teaching, by instilling bit by bit Islam in during the teaching session. For example, in the geography class, instilling about Islam or any verses in the Quran, and explaining any verses of in the Quran during the geography class, it may instill some information about Islam, and as well as modern knowledge in the mind of the students. So that's all for me. Thank you.
To conclude our presentation, we can see the challenges and the prospects of Islamic civilization give benefit truth lessons in our life, and also with the achievements and contribution given by the Muslim from pre-Islamic era until now. However, it is still being used as a study material for both Muslim and non-Muslim scholars in order for them to know more about the Islam, and also the spread of knowledge went along with how Muslims acted according to Islam, because they were able to portray what Islam actually meant to the world that have been thirsty for knowledge and reform. As we learn in Islamic history, it actually teaches us how to form a basis of our Muslim identity, what has shown in the past, for them to apply in nowadays. For example, we can see how the Prophet Muhammad SAW upholding universal human rights and cultural diversity will be how the Muslim, Christians, and Jews lived together during the Prophet's time in Medina. So this example shown that how the religion how the Prophet tried to unite all the religion, become a one religion. I think that's all from us. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you get some knowledge about it and try to share it with others. I stop with thank you, and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.